Hello and welcome to the best of TV Burp 3, a look back at my favourite moments from previous series. Remember when Cliff Richard bought a new tour bus? High-speed chase on Coronation Street. And Jim Carver reveals real reason he split up with June Ackland on the bill.
So, with a bit of luck, we can turn him over and I can have him up the M6.
Do you ever get that feeling when you're presenting a show that you mustn't move your hands?
Let's see how our two teams are shaping up against each other as property developers. Lobbying local residents and trying to get them inside a spell was a good move. Both couples now have only 7 days.
Don't move your hands or the spell will be broken. Well, I was very pleased to see Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall back on the box last week.
Hi there. How you doing? Can I interest you in my chicken game?
Yeah, all right, I'll play a chicken game, Hugh.
Imagine this is a section of a metre square of a huge chicken farm where they're rearing standard birds for Tesco or any other supermarket. How many birds would you be happy to see in this indoor space?
Yeah, you got any other games? I'm not sure I like the chicken game. This, of course, was Hugh's chicken run and his attempt to change our eating habits. You've been watching Jamie? His first move was to reduce the number of intensive chicken farms. So what's next?
What if I set up my own intensive chicken farm?
Yeah, you set up your own intensive chicken farm. What? How does that work? Surely that means you've increased the number of intensive chicken farms. No, it's an experiment, see? One half intensive, the other free range. Ah, and before you know it, he's got 3,000 baby chicks turning up. And they're such fun baby chicks, aren't they?
There was plenty of room for them as just hatched chicks, but it wouldn't be long before this was a densely packed house. Over on the free-range side...
Baby chicks, great fun. They're not real, all right. But big things from little acorns grow, and before long the chicks have become chickens, and it's getting a little uncomfortable in the barn.
What animal of any kind would want to live in here?
A fox? Who kidnapped Shergar now? And if you thought John McKirrick looked weird now, take a look at him back in the 80s.
No one is going to get it.
Oh, the join with the sideburns is seamless.
They won't.
John McKirrick, wasn't he the elephant man? Oh, no, that's John Merrick, of course. Yeah.
We'll get those two mixed up.
Let's see a bit of Shergar in action.
It is the first derby for both Shergar and his 19-year-old jockey Walter Swinburne.
My advice is always bet on the Volvo. So, the world's most valuable racehorse is kidnapped. Who do you set on the trail of the kidnappers? None other than crack detective Chief Superintendent James Murphy.
Chief Superintendent James Murphy was put on the kidnappers' trail. The local policeman knew that this was the biggest case of his career.
Well, I'm slightly concerned about it.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned. Oh, don't worry, it'll turn up. Yeah. What's the main concern?
A stallion cannot be kept by people who are not well up in the horsey field.
It might be all right keeping in a horsey box, but not in a horsey field. You're watching this, you're thinking, with this bloke in charge, how come they never found Shergar? The kidnappers, they must have been quaking in their boots.
Do you have any leads at the moment?
I know leads.
Absolutely nothing. So, how do you go about gathering information for such a search?
It would appear from the reports on last night's news bulletins during the interview with Mr. Maxwell that the people were the people concerned.
Yeah. You watch the news, do you? If there's any sign of Shergar, it'd be on the news, wouldn't it? Is there anything on the news? Oh, look, there's a man in a chilby looking for Shergar. I'll ask him. Oh, it's me. And the result of all this detective work?
Are you any further ahead than you were yesterday?
I regret to say that I'm not.
Although I think there's a clue in this clip. I think I can hear a cry for help.
It's probably the biggest hunt the country has ever known.
The search for Sugar is nationwide.
Come over here! Come over here! I'm in the back of this van! Help! See, I think this Chief Superintendent James Murphy would have made a great TV detective. You've got to have a gimmick, right? Inspector Morse had his jag, Kojak had his lollipop. What do you associate with Chief Superintendent James Murphy? Well, sugar.
Well, Murphy, sugar, are you any further ahead?
I regret to say, no. Isn't it strange how people end up looking like they're straw donkeys? Now, the big news on EastEnders is Phil Daniels has joined the cast of Albert Square. Of course, you may remember Phil from the old Blur song.
All you got to do is enlighten me into whose fist you walked into, and I'll shut me trap.
Park life!
I had to cancel my plane ticket on Friday, and I was told I could reschedule.
Park life!
If you've got as much influence over Nico as you seem to think, then maybe you should try it.
Park life! Everybody! You're all right, you get the idea with that. Poor Dino was in hospital after a bout of drink driving. He'd been trying to forget an unsightly image burnt into his consciousness.
I went round to her flat, looked through the window, and there she was. A big slop of a feather on top of her. Both laughing, both drunk. My mum. What kind of a woman would do that?
Pat? No, be real. She's been around a bit as Pat.
Think you're clever, don't you? You don't fool me.
Who could fool you, Pat? You know every trick in the book. You probably even wrote the book.
Yeah, she wrote the book. Yeah, I've got it here. Here it is. The Joy of Pat. Which I thought I would show you, actually. It's just... Plus I won't. Poor Martin, though. Sonia's done a bunk with little Rebecca, so I've done something to cheer him up. Yes, a little drawing of how things might yet be. I hope he likes it. I tried my best. It's tricky with coloured pencils. And I've lost my sharpener. That poor front room of Martin's, though, eh? First it was gutted by fire, then at Christmas it was trashed by Joe.
What are you going to do, Pauline? What?
I just hope no one's got it in for the kitchen.
You!
Doesn't anyone open a door before walking through it these days?
He did what? I want someone who can actually do something.
But which is better at crashing through doors, Phil or Mr. Blobby? There's only one way to find out. See you after the break. Welcome back to the best of TV Burp 3. Remember when Patrick Stewart revealed strong feelings about Emmerdale?
What started out on a single farm became a national disaster.
Riverdance comes to Holby. And Smoking Giraffe on Wild at Heart. Meanwhile, down in Casualty, Nathan's eyes nearly popped out of his head.
I know everything.
Just what was he looking at? Well, it was something about Selena's legs.
I know everything.
She's a fawn! New show on Sky One Mix, The Real Mrs. Robinson, in which a mother and daughter date the same bloke. And he has to pick the one he wants to take for a weekend in Milan.
Will your 20-something bloke go for the beauty of youth or the sophistication of the older woman?
That's one word for it. They're very much a team, these two, like best friends.
We do everything together. She does my hair, she pulls my eyebrows out.
Yeah, looking at her, maybe she shouldn't be pulling quite so hard. In the end, they settle on David, a 20-something nightclub doorman who's bowled over by Jade's stunning intellect.
Where are you from originally?
Oops. Jade appears to have forgotten where she's from.
Where am I from? I know this one. Eggs. Yeah. Originally, then we moved to Bromley.
Mother and daughter pretty much agree they don't really go for David.
He is just a big-headed, feminine, male chauvinist pig.
A feminine, male chauvinist pig, yeah. How's that work? Yeah. That's someone who hates themselves, isn't it? Oh, I hate myself for being so feminine, I really do. So they both go on the date, and he's so spoilt for choice, he can't choose. So, what does he do? Take both of them to Milan?
The only way I feel I can make this up to you is to send you two to Milan.
Yeah, I like you both so much, you can go without me. Then, to round the programme off nicely...
After the recording of this programme, Tracy couldn't find a babysitter, so Jade went to Milan with her friend instead.
Whoa! What was the idea of this show?
Will your 20-something bloke go for the beauty of youth or the sophistication of the older woman?
So which one did he choose then?
David is now seeing a receptionist called Mandy.
Hang on! This isn't a show, is it? This is just some things that happen. It's like an episode of Wife Swap where they don't swap wives, you know. They swap dogs, and then one of the dogs gets a cough, and one of the husband's nephews goes and spends some book tokens. The end. Billy Piper of Doctor Who was back on TV this week in history drama Mansfield Park, written by new young writer Jane Austen. And things were a little less in your face in those days. A gentleman had to be a little more cryptic when complimenting a lady on her appearance.
I like your Miss Bertrams exceedingly.
They give themselves no airs.
Cheeky. One of the great things about this show was the fact they'd employed a large number of one-legged people, which was good, but it did lead to a fair amount of hopping. feeling when you're playing a really long game of badminton and actually start to age?
Only Edmund put himself out to secure
There she is as a little girl.
He became my one true friend. And as the years passed...
She's aged at least 10 years. And him, look. Oh, that was a long game of badminton. They cut it short there, in fact. The game continued.
And as the years passed, I came to love him as more than a cousin.
Mediums Talking to the Dead now on BBC Two, in which we were given an extremely balanced overview of the psychic world, ranging from Gordon Smith at the top of the psychic ladder.
He's been described as Britain's most accurate medium. He's featured in today's Daily Mail, hailed as Psychic Barber.
A psychic barber, what's that? Or he looks into the future and predicts a haircut. I can see your hair getting longer. Even better was Darren, a rookie medium, very much on the first rung, and the programme makers really gave him a leg up.
I think Darren's got the looks, he's got the clairvoyance, and he's actually got the determination.
Yeah, he's got the looks. That's what you get when you go to a psychic barber. Short all over and stick it up in spikes at the front, please. Now, handsome Darren, with his matinee idol good looks, has a spirit guide. Brown Bear.
My spirit guide's Brown Bear. He wears 2 feathers. He clears my path.
Ooh, how much does he charge an hour? He's new, so he's not always spot on with his predictions.
When he passed, did you go and visit the grave and put a flower down for him?
No.
But he perseveres with his uncanny ability to put his finger exactly on it.
Who's a fond lover of 40 Towers? I'm just getting 40 Towers come through.
You're getting 40 Towers? That haircut, he's getting Freeview on it. It's not a spirit world, it's UK Gold. Later on, we got the chance to meet Darren's mum.
This is Mum. Proud of Mum.
And I'm proud of him.
Why? Hey? Why? Are you proud of a pillow with a face drawn on it? He never gets it right! Marbella Bells now, which follows the feckless lives of expats in Spain. First, we met Lisa Johnson, who seemed to have forgotten her son's name, Blue.
Tell me about Blue.
Oh?
Blue.
Blue oh? Blue what? Colour? What? Blue?
Your baby.
Oh, the baby!
Oh, the baby! Lovely little thing named Blue! Named after Blue Water Shopping Centre, in fact. Yes. Poor Lisa. She doesn't seem to have entirely got the hang of this mothering lark.
Hello, chicken pie. Oh, down, love. We can't be doing too much. Oh, when he got heavy.
Yeah, they do get bigger. But why so heavy now?
Right. I think I'll put that under there. I changed his nappy. I think it was about a couple of months ago.
That'll be why. Yeah. What would she do without her nanny, Lin Lin?
Go to Lin Lin. Oh. If I didn't have Lin Lin, I think I'd die. I think I'd die. Well, no, I'd find another one.
Die or find another one, you know, one of the two. But the highlight of the week for anyone living in Marbella is, of course, the after-dinner entertainment. And it's surprising some of the talent on offer.
Go home if you don't
Do you want some more? Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Marbella, it's Joe Alexandru.
When your head is in my hand.
You turn me on, makes me sing and sing a song that I could sing on. To you I guess I'm just a clown. Pick you up each time you're down.
Oh baby, oh baby, baby.
And if you don't like it, you can go home.
The Harry Hill TV Burp DVD is available in-store and online. Next here on ITV1, the fantasy continues in Demons, and over on ITV4, it's the battle for the British lightweight belt in the Big Fight Live.